Victoria stepped onto the stage with her signature poise, the kind of walk a woman develops only after surviving decades of tabloids, public scrutiny, and the impossible standards of being Victoria Beckham. She wasn't there to cause drama. She never is. But halfway through her speech, she paused. She scanned the audience. And with a calmness that felt almost icy, she said 7 words that made the entire room freeze. I kept quiet too long. People need to know. She didn't say Meghan's name. She didn't have to. Everyone knew exactly who she meant. And ladies, be honest, when a woman like Victoria breaks her silence, it's never impulsive. It's intentional. Controlled. Measured. Like a slow, elegant blade. Ladies, have you ever stayed silent for too long, letting someone take advantage because you hoped they'd change? Because that's exactly where Victoria's story begins. The friendship Meghan didn't expect. Before the fallout, before the whispers, before the quiet war, Victoria and Meghan actually shared a rare, soft alliance. In the early days of Meghan's royal whirlwind, she was drowning. Camera bulbs. Tabloid lies. The frenzy of becoming the world's most watched woman overnight. And Victoria? Victoria had lived that life already. She knew the cost. She knew the loneliness. So she did something she didn't do often, not even with fellow celebrities. She reached out. Directly. Privately. Women supporting women, quietly, without needing applause. She opened her personal network to Meghan. Elite stylists. Crisis PR teams. Discreet beauty experts. Trusted London insiders. All the people Victoria had spent decades building trust with. And Meghan accepted the help. Quickly. Eagerly. The two were photographed at Wimbledon looking like old girlfriends, laughing too long, leaning in too close, whispering the kind of secrets only women in pressure cooker lives can share. People whispered behind the scenes, Victoria really cares for her. She wants Meghan to feel protected. But as every grown woman knows, sometimes the friendship you're nurturing is the one that later breaks your heart. Have you ever helped someone who later acted like they never needed you in the first place? The accusation that quietly broke everything. By late 2019, people close to Meghan noticed her shifting. She smiled less, trusted less, felt cornered more. And one quiet, dangerous thought kept circling her mind. Someone is leaking. Someone close. Someone she trusted. Not silly details. Not harmless tidbits. But private, intimate things only her inner circle knew. And that's when Meghan allegedly started circling one name. Victoria Beckham. Yes, the same woman who had opened her home, her contacts, and her reputation to Meghan. Most people found the idea ridiculous. Victoria has spent decades protecting her own privacy. She is not the type to trade secrets for headlines. She barely speaks to the press about herself, let alone others. But once Meghan had the suspicion locked in her mind, it didn't matter whether it was real. Women who feel cornered don't look for truth, they look for someone to blame. And one thing about Meghan? When she cuts someone off, she doesn't leave a trace. One day the invitation stopped. One day the messages went unanswered. One day the warmth vanished. No phone call. No explanation. Just silence. Cold, polished, royal silence. Victoria didn't fight it. She didn't beg. She didn't chase. Because women like Victoria Beckham? They may hurt deeply, but they hurt quietly. Ladies, would you confront a friend who suspected you unfairly, or would you walk away with dignity like Victoria? The years of quiet hurt. When Meghan and Harry stepped back from royal duties, the friendship had already died. The Beckhams were no longer invited to anything. No longer acknowledged. No longer trusted. And trust me, if you've ever been cut off by someone you genuinely tried to help, you know that silence isn't peaceful. It's heavy. It lingers. Victoria poured herself into her fashion empire. Meghan moved to California, cameras flashing, new deals blooming like spring flowers. But the distance between them? It didn't fade. It hardened. Tabloids speculated. Fans theorized. Social media made wild claims. But Victoria stayed silent. Not a sentence. Not a hint. Not a whisper. And that's what made her 7 words at the gala so shocking. Because silence is powerful, but when a woman finally decides to break it, she doesn't come to play. She comes to end the chapter. The betrayal Victoria could not ignore. The turning point, the moment that cracked Victoria's composure, came quietly. Not in front of cameras. Not in the tabloids. But behind the scenes of something deeply personal. A children's hospital fundraiser. Victoria had spent months planning it, hands-on, invested, designing, funding, donating. This wasn't PR. This was her heart. And Meghan? Meghan was supposed to co-host. Her name alone could bring millions in donations. But then, the email surfaced. A message allegedly from Meghan's aide. Concerns have been raised about brand alignment. Please consider alternative fashion sponsorship. In simple words, Meghan didn't want Victoria's name on the event. No warning. No explanation. No gratitude for months of work. Just erasure. That was the moment Victoria knew the truth. This wasn't a misunderstanding. It wasn't hurt feelings. It was betrayal. If a friend erased you after you supported her, would you forgive? Or would you finally say enough is enough? The speech that shattered the silence. The morning after Victoria's 7 quiet but deadly words spread across the internet, the story exploded. Celebrities replayed the clip. Stylists whispered. PR teams panicked. Hollywood group chats lit up like fireworks. And the one thing everyone agreed on? Victoria Beckham meant every syllable. She wasn't emotional. She wasn't dramatic. She wasn't vague. She was intentional. Women over 35 know this energy well, the moment you stop explaining yourself and you simply stand in your truth. But if Victoria's 7 words were the spark, what happened next was the wildfire. David Beckham breaks his silence, too. David Beckham rarely comments on drama. He protects his wife. He stays out of feuds. He avoids shade like he avoids carbs before a photo shoot. But that morning, David posted one photo, him, Victoria, and their daughter. A quiet, wholesome family moment. The caption? Truth always comes out in the end. 7 words. Just like Victoria's. And just like hers, it didn't mention Meghan. But everyone knew. And when the industry started quietly liking the post, especially celebrities who had been neutral for years, that was the moment people realized. This wasn't Victoria versus Meghan. This was the Beckham family speaking as one. If your partner publicly supported you during a betrayal, wouldn't that speak louder than any interview? Because for women who know real marriage, real loyalty, real partnership, that post meant everything. Meghan's silence. And Harry's worry. The world waited, not for Victoria's next words, but for Meghan's. Because Meghan is never quiet. She has PR teams, podcasts, interviews, friends in high places. But this time? Nothing. Not a whisper. Not a statement. Not even a conveniently timed charity announcement. Even her inner circle stayed shockingly quiet. Oprah? Silent. Serena Williams? Silent. Her PR team? Radio silent. The one who broke the silence accidentally was Harry. Paparazzi caught him at an airport, head down, jaw tight, eyes avoiding every camera. Reporters shouted Meghan-related questions, but he didn't even glance their way. And for the first time, people didn't see a protective husband. They saw a man scared of what might come next. The audio clip that changed everything. That's when the internet erupted again. A 14-second audio clip leaked online. A woman's voice, calm, sharp, almost irritated, said, "She's lucky I don't say what I know about her." No name. No context. But the uploader claimed it was Meghan. Talking about Victoria. Even Meghan's biggest supporters panicked. One major fan account deleted their pinned tweet defending her and replaced it with, "If that audio is real, I don't know what to say anymore." Say what you will, but when even your defenders lose confidence, the tide is turning. Victoria didn't acknowledge the clip. Didn't deny it. Didn't fight back. But someone close to her did. They told a reporter 5 words that punched harder than any accusation. She was disappointed, but not surprised. Ladies, read that again. That is not anger. That is not revenge. That is a woman who already knew. Have you ever been disappointed, but not surprised, by someone who showed their true colors? Victoria's possible interview, the one Meghan fears. After the audio storm, Hollywood insiders began whispering something almost unthinkable. Victoria Beckham might finally sit down for a full, honest, no-softening interview. This is shocking because Victoria has built her empire on privacy, dignity, silence, elegance, letting rumors die without feeding them. So if she's willing to speak now, it means the situation has reached a point she never wanted. A friend reportedly told journalists, "People only know half the story. She's ready to tell the rest." And let's be honest, Victoria doesn't embellish. She doesn't rant. She doesn't dramatize. She states facts. And facts are far more dangerous than gossip. Meghan tries to re-enter the Beckham circle. Behind the scenes, something even more surprising happened. Sources said Meghan wanted back into the Beckham circle, back into the world she once froze out, back into the good graces of the couple she once suspected. But Victoria Beckham is not a revolving door. You don't hurt her, walk away, erase her from your world, and then casually knock years later hoping she forgot. Victoria forgives. But she never forgets. Especially not when you used her connections, questioned her loyalty, erased her name from charity work, and let accusations hang in the air unchecked. By the time Meghan wanted access again, Victoria had already quietly closed that chapter. A woman who's healed doesn't reopen the wound. What Meghan misunderstood about Victoria. Meghan underestimated one thing. Victoria doesn't fight with words. She fights with silence. With dignity. With reputation. With the quiet support of people who trust her more than any tabloid. She doesn't throw tantrums. She doesn't leak. She doesn't drag people into her mess. She simply stands still and lets the truth circle back on its own. And eventually, it did. Every woman over 35 knows this universal truth. The real battle isn't loud. It's quiet. It's patient. It's inevitable. The final reckoning. Now the world waits for one thing. Will Victoria actually speak? And if she does, what will happen to Meghan's already fragile image? Because this time it isn't a rumor. It isn't a leak. It isn't anonymous sources. It's Victoria Beckham, sitting across from a journalist, telling the truth she kept silent for years. The truth that ended their friendship. The truth that redefined Meghan's circle. The truth that could finally explain everything. And when women as private as Victoria decide to speak, they don't come to hurt. They come to end confusion. End denial. End the narrative. They come with facts. And facts are final. If you want part 3, what Victoria Beckham might reveal on camera, and why Meghan should be worried, drop a comment, hit subscribe, and tell me. Whose side are you on, Victoria or Meghan? Your opinion might be featured in the next video.